Shore. Mr. Bain.
Here.
Mr. Sensi.
Here.
Mrs. Tiliano. Here. Mrs. Little. Mr. Perone.
Here.
Mrs. Ritt. Here. Mrs. Valley. Here. Ms. Lean. Here. Mr. Whitman.
Here.
The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this Act, the Greenwich Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place posted at the Stewartsville School and the Greenwich School. Notice of the meeting has been sent to the Express Times and Star Gazette and is on file in the office of the Clerk of Greenwich Township.
Thank you very much. We're going to begin with the superintendent's report.
First, I'd like to indicate that the school bus emergency evacuation drills were conducted at the Stewartsville Middle School on October 11th and at the Greenwich School on October 18th. And we are required to incorporate all students in the bus evacuation drills to prepare them for an evacuation during field trip, even if they're not transported to school each day. And now we'll move on to the required Each year, superintendents in New Jersey are required to provide a report regarding the violence and vandalism incidents to date in district, harassment, intimidation, and bullying report, and JASC results, and school level objectives. So this report is presented at the November 2nd Board of Education meeting. This PowerPoint will be on the district website tomorrow. So first I'll start with the violence and vandalism report. This is the 2010-11 violence and vandalism report. The report for this year is not yet complete, as we are still in the year. So we had 4 violence incidents at the middle school, 1 vandalism incident, and 2 weapons. 2 students came to school with weapons. All of the incidents occurred at Stewartsville Middle School and resulted in 1 in-school suspension and 5 out-of-school suspensions. And that is the entirety of the 10-11 academic year. Now on to the HIB report. Per Public Law 2011, Chapter 133, school superintendents are required to publicly report the HIB incidents twice each year, once between the months of September and December, and secondly between the months of January and June. So this is the report for the once between September and December. So the HIB incidents to date at the Greenwich School, we've had 2, and at the Stewartsville Middle School, we have had 5. And now the NJASC results. I'm going to start with some key points regarding the NJASC. Firstly, the proficiency benchmarks have increased considerably. If you look at language arts, grades 3 through 5, from 2008 through 2010, 59% of the students in grades 3 through 5 were required to be proficient in order for the district to meet the AYP benchmark. That changed this year in 2011 and increased 20 points to 79%. There has been a major jump across all grade levels in the AYP performance benchmark for this academic year. Other key points include 40 AYP indicators. Many individuals believe that only performance and participation are included in the calculation for adequate yearly progress. That is absolutely false. There are 40 indicators, and schools and student groups are required to meet all 40 indicators to meet AYP. The student groups in Greenwich Township, there are only 3 because of our population. We have the total population, the white student group, and the special education student group. Although we have children from other races and nationalities, the number of those students is not enough to develop into a student group. So at this point in Greenwich Township, AYP is based on total population, white, and special ed. Science never has been and currently is not included in the AYP calculation. AYP is only calculated on math and language arts. Did Greenwich Township School District make adequate yearly progress? The elementary school met 40 out of 40 indicators, so yes, the elementary school made adequate yearly progress. The middle school made 39 out of 40 indicators. The Stewartsville school did not make adequate yearly progress. You might ask why. The reason is because of the special ed population in language arts literacy. The special ed population at the middle school did not make adequate yearly progress, therefore the school did not make adequate yearly progress. And that's a total of 31 students. Now, the district factor group. I talk about the district factor group a great deal. It was developed in 1975 by the New Jersey Department of Education, and it's a community's relative socioeconomic status. It was developed by the Department of Ed to allow for comparison of student performance across demographically similar areas. It's also used to identify weaknesses in curriculum. It's based on the decennial census, and at this point, the Department of Ed has not given us any information as to when they're going to update the status based on the 2010 census. So we're still relying on the 2000 results. So here is a slide depicting the DFGs in Warren County and the surrounding area. DFG begins with A. It is basically the poorest, they are basically the poorest districts in New Jersey, and they are represented by Camden and Newark. The pendulum swings northward to the J districts, and they are the wealthiest districts in New Jersey. Greenwich Township is a DFGI. So when we look at our assessment results, our students are being compared with districts like us, and these are some of the districts represented. We have Clinton Township, Clinton Borough. We have Lebanon Township, Lebanon Borough, Summit, Westfield, Morris Plains, Montville. They're just a small sampling of the I districts that our students are being compared to. If you look at Alpha and Phillipsburg, they are DFGB. Our students are not being compared with Alpha and Phillipsburg students because of the district factor group being so completely different. The understanding is that what works in Alpha and Phillipsburg probably will not work in Greenwich Township and vice versa because of the background information the children come to school with. Lopakong and Powhatan are DFGDE. Bloomsbury is a GH. Greenwich Township and Alamucci are the only two school districts in Warren County with DFGI. So when I talk about the district factor group and compare our students, I'm comparing our students to the students who reside in these communities, not to our cluster. So what is incorporated into the 2011 Language Arts Literacy NJASC? It's comprised of 3 reading passages that test comprehension based on multiple choice and constructed response items. It also includes writing tasks. The focus is on reading comprehension and writing. And this is true for all grade levels 3 through 8. So how did we do? This is the total population. So this includes our special ed population. The green bars depict the state average. The middle or orange bar depicts Greenwich Township, and the lighter shade depicts the district factor group I. Across the bottom, I have the grade levels listed, the number of students who are proficient over the number of students in the grade level, and the number of students that we missed district factor group I comparison to. So, to explain further, in 3rd grade, 86 out of 117 students are proficient. If 8 more students were proficient, we would have met the I's in grade 3. In grade 4, 78 out of 102 are proficient. 6 more students were needed to meet the I districts, and so on. You can see in 6th grade and in 8th grade, we exceeded or met the I district. Now, pulling out or disaggregating the data and eliminating the special ed population, you can see that 83 students out of 107 are proficient, and we needed 7 more general ed students to meet the I districts. And again, in 6th grade, we exceeded. In 8th grade, I like to point out that 100% of the general ed population met proficiency benchmarks. Percent advanced proficient. This is an inclusion of all students in the district. And again, let's look at 3rd grade. 8 out of 117 students are advanced proficient. 5 more students would have met the I districts. I'd like to call your attention to 7th grade, where they far exceeded the I districts. 35% of our students are advanced proficient versus 23% of the I districts. I'd also like to show you how we compare to the state. We either meet or exceed the state in most areas. Now, this is the first year in the history of the NJASC that we can compare growth from one year to the next. The reason is because the Department of Ed and Measurement Inc. have always changed the assessment in some capacity, therefore making comparison of data inappropriate. So from 2010 to 2011, every grade level either maintained the level of proficiency or saw an increase in level of proficiency. And so we are comparing the third grade students when they were in third grade to the third grade students went in fourth grade. It's the same group of students being compared. So we are seeing growth from one year to the next, or at least we are maintaining. Now, mathematics overview for grades 3 through 8. It is comprised of multiple choice, short and extended constructive response. Calculators are permitted for only parts of the test. The DOE is very specific about which sections of the test children can use calculators. And the focus is on these 4 areas in particular, with problem solving dispersed throughout the 4 areas. Here is the total population, including our special ed students. In third grade, 94 out of 117 students are proficient. 12 more would have met the I district, but as you can see, we either meet or exceed the state average in every level. 6th grade and 4th grade also meet or exceed the I's. Now, when we disaggregate the data and only include the general ed population, you can see that we are very close to the I districts in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th grade. 90 out of 107 are proficient in 3rd grade. We needed 11 more to meet the I district. But as you can see with the general ed population, we exceeded the state average in every grade level. Now the percent advanced proficient. Let's look at 3rd grade. 47 out of 117 are advanced proficient, so we would need 16 more students to meet the advanced proficient to meet the I districts. And so on and so forth, with 7th grade again exceeding the I's in advanced proficient. And 6th grade only missing it by 1 child. Math growth, again, we can see growth in 3rd to 4th, 4th to 5th, 5th to 6th. We see a small decline in 6 to 7 and 7 to 8. But in these 2 grades, we had a great deal of transiency. A lot of children moved out of district, new children moved in, so it isn't a true indicator of growth because we had so many differences, student population differences in those 2 grade levels. In science, science is only tested in 4th and 8th grade. In 4th grade, we exceeded the I's, and in 8th grade, we met the I's in percent proficient. Total population, this is total population. Percent advanced proficient, we exceeded the state and are close to the I's. And again, science is not used in AYP calculation. Now, our curricular strengths. As I stated earlier, one of the reasons for the DFG categorization is to allow us to identify our curricular strengths and weaknesses and address our weaknesses to help the students to improve our instruction, as tested by the NJASC. So one of the curricular strengths that we've identified is programmatic consistency that we implemented in September of 2009. We also implemented benchmarking assessments at the same time. We implemented a new math program, inclusionary programs and practices, a balanced literacy program throughout, Handwriting Without Tears, which is a multimodal handwriting program. Foundations and the Wilson Reading Program were implemented in September 2009 to deal with decoding children who have reading difficulty as measured by decoding errors. In 2009 and then again in 2011, well in 2009 we offered a social studies program in grades 5 through 7, and then in 2011 we expanded it to 4th grade. We also implemented curriculum mapping and curriculum revision. We offer pre-ALG and ALG programs in 7th and 8th grade, and we implemented that in 2010. This year, we implemented pre- and post-unit assessments, also the language arts and math honors programs in grades 6 through 8, a new 6 through 8 math program that encourages high-order thinking, and a middle school advisory period to provide enrichment and remediation as needed. So all of these programs and curricular strengths have been designed to address the weaknesses that we identified through the assessments over the few years that I've been here. Now, we still have areas of improvement, and they include reading and writing across curricular areas. We spent a great deal of time over the last few years focusing on reading and writing within the language arts literacy time frame of the school day. We now realize that we have to expand beyond the language arts literacy component of the day and start teaching reading and writing across curricular areas, so in science, math, and social studies. We need to include a balance of fiction and nonfiction and provide direct instruction in grammar, punctuation, note-taking, and text analysis. What we found is our children are not using the graphs and pictures that accompany text to help them form conclusions. So we have to teach them how to use those context clues. And also how to identify the main idea. We have been focusing so much on higher order information and thinking that we sort of disregarded the basics. So we realize now we have to go back to basics at the same time, teach some higher order, and we will do that. In the elementary school for math, we realize that our students are not doing as well on the math assessment because they have not memorized their facts. They don't know their times tables, their addition tables, and all that. So we purchased Otter Creek, and it will be a method by which the teachers in the elementary school can do some timed math tests with the children. Still emphasizing that parents have to work on homework with their children to memorize the math facts. At the middle school, we've identified math, probability, geometry, discrete math, and problem solving as areas that we have to improve in our curriculum. So how are we going to do that? We've devised school-level objectives. Building principals, teachers, and parents have formed committees. They evaluated all the data and came up with these goals. So the Greenwich School is going to work on, continue to work on holistic writing. On writing using the holistic writing rubric, and expect to see an increase of 15% in proficiency. They also will be working on mathematics and utilizing benchmark assessments, see an increase, 85% of the students in K-5 will be on or above grade level. And thirdly, 85% of students in 2nd through 5th grade will advance 10 levels in math fact skills. Now, one level is, as an example, 4 plus 1 through 4 plus 4 is a level, and then 4 plus 5 through 4 plus 9 is another level. So that's a level, and we expect the children to advance at least 10 levels in a year. So that's at the Greenwich School. At the Stewartsville Middle School, they are going to work in math on probability, geometry, and discrete math, and it will be assessed using benchmarking assessments that we've devised. Their remaining 2 goals focus on writing across the curriculum, wherein the writing rubrics will be used to identify on grade level writing of a 4 or better in explanatory, argumentative, or narrative writing prompt in science and 1 in social studies. So they're working on writing across the curriculum. Now, the future of state assessments are changing in New Jersey. The NJASC will be eliminated in a few years. And we are going to work with the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers, short term is PARC. They are designing national math and language arts assessments that are anchored in college and career readiness. We all keep hearing about 21st century skills, college and career readiness, and so these assessments will be anchored in college and career readiness. There are 23 member states to date that could increase. New Jersey is one of those 23, plus the District of Columbia, and New Jersey is a governing state, which means that we have more direct involvement in the development of the assessments. So the PARC assessments will be computer-based, as far as we've been told. They will be benchmark assessments, so children will be assessed. They initially thought 4 times a year, but they've decreased it to 3 now. So I'm hoping they decrease it once more to 2, but we'll have to wait and see. And it is based on a growth model. It is no longer a particular day in time and how that child did on that day. It's you evaluate in the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year, and we show growth per individual student, not per grade level or school or anything like that. So they are working toward a growth model, which many educators believe is wonderful, myself included. So what is the timeline for this implementation? This year, they are launching and designing it. Next year, they will begin development. In 12-13, they will begin piloting. In 13-14, they will continue the pilot, and then they will implement the park assessments in the 2014-15 academic year. And as far as we know, as I said, it will be a computer-based type of assessment. Children will be required to take the assessment on a computer, and the results will be provided to teachers within 2 weeks, thereby allowing us to inform, the test will inform instruction. So we've been told. So we'll just have to wait and see. So that concludes my report, and as I stated, it will be on the district website tomorrow, and it will be in district news and notes. No, we can do during public.
All right, so we're up to adoption of our minutes. In your packet, you have the regular meeting minutes for September 28th, and you received, also the October 5th special meeting minutes. You received a copy of the executive session and the special meeting executive session minutes, which if you haven't initialed and gotten back to Vicki, please do so. And if there's no changes to those, we'll adopt those as written. Which moves us into public participation for agenda items only. If anyone would like to comment on an agenda item this evening, please state your name, address, and the agenda item. Seeing none, we're moving on. And we move into finance and operations.
Okay, finance committee met this month. Just to give an update on a few things. The roof is essentially completed. There's a final punch list that is still some open items, and I think there's a finalized meeting to be set up to complete all those punch list items. The windows, the trailers are on site at the middle school. The windows themselves have been delivered, they're in the trailers, and we're awaiting the installation schedule. We are told that once the schedule's set, they should be installed in 10 days. So, I think we reported last time the drainage is completed, and the solar bids we received for the PPA, we had a meeting on the 5th. All the bids were rejected, and it was rebid. It was put out for a rebid on the 19th. They are due back on the 19th of October. They're due back on November 15th. The committee's going to review them on November 21st, and we may or may not take action on them. So that's those were some of the things that we discussed. Anybody have any questions on any of those? All right, so I'm going to make a motion to approve items on the agenda I-1 through items I-7. Any second?
Second.
Any comments or concerns or questions on any of the agenda items? Anyone, please call roll.
Mr. Sensi?
Yes.
Mrs. Cantiliano?
Yes.
Mr. Crum?
Yes.
Mrs. Ritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
Mrs. Lean? Yes. Mr. Whitman?
Yes. And that moves us into curriculum instruction and technology. Diane?
The Curriculum Instruction and Technology Committee met last week as well. Don't really have, the superintendent covered what we discussed in her reports. Obviously, we looked at the NJS results and previewed violence and vandalism HIV report. So it would be redundant of me to focus on that. I do want to say that one of the things that there's an education transformation task force which was created by Governor Christie in April, and one of the things that it applies to the middle school not needing AYP because of the special ed population that didn't need it in language arts literacy. And the entire state of New Jersey has agreed to apply for a waiver from the regulations of No Child Left Behind. Because according to that report, it ultimately rates schools as either making annual yearly progress or falling short, saying, quote, "No one believes that something as complex as public education can be reduced to an up or down judgment," unquote. So, you know, I think you were as pleased as we were to see so many areas of improvement and excellence in the NJASC report this year, results this year. But I do have a note of thanks to make, which is always a pleasure, and so every month we have usually at least 2 people to thank or groups to thank, and this month is no different. The Greenwich Township PTO, this would simply not be the wonderful district that it is without our PTO. And this month, we're accepting a donation of $4,118 for the purchase of 6 iPads and accessories. And we also want to thank Home Instead Senior Care of Warren County for their donation of 18 copies of the book, Llama Llama Red Pajama, highly recommended, that was used during the read for the record. And the books, of course, will continue to be enjoyed and the gift is appreciated. So having said that, I'm going to accept the recommendation of the superintendent and move that we adopt the following J1, approval of field trips, J2, the high school tuition contracts, J3, approval of clubs and advisors, J4, professional day travel, J5, the 2011 memorandum of agreement between education and law enforcement officials, J6, the donation from the PTO, and J7, the donation from the Home Instead Senior Care of Warren County.
A second. Thank you, Christine. Any comments, questions, or concerns on any of those agenda items?
I would just like to point out that we will have a Greenwich School Band this year. Adam Josephson, our district instrumental music teacher, is developing a band here at the elementary school, so we're very pleased about that. And our building principal, Ms. Zalati, is going to be the yearbook advisor this year. I would also like to point out that all of the field trips for the academic year are now scheduled by our teachers. They completed that task by October 31st. There's only one date that we don't have, and that is the middle school track meet, and that is J113. It will occur sometime in May, and as soon as we get the date, we will finalize that, but the high school has not yet finalized the date.
Oh, and another pitch, since you brought up clubs and advisors, I noticed on the website today, and I guess we should publicize it once again, what is it called, from page to stage?
Page to the stage.
Page to stage, the 18th and the 19th, the Wizard of Oz. So, put in a plug for that.
Mrs. Valley?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, did you have another one? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know what, because I thought maybe the 8th grade is the only grade not going on field trip.
No, they're going to Doherty Park.
Oh, did I miss it?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, 8, it's
I
not
did
in
the
there.
same thing.
Thank you, sorry. Yes, yes, yes. Good, thank you.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Sensi?
Yes.
Mrs. Catiliano?
Yes.
Mr. Crone?
Yes.
Mrs. Ritt?
Yes.
Ms. Lean?
Yes.
Mr. Whitman?
Yes. We're going to move into policy and personnel, Brian?
Policy and personnel did not meet this month due to the school board convention. But we do have a couple of things to approve. The adoption of the bylaw 0142, board member qualifications. This is the second reading after being first read on September 28th. We have a few appointments and transfers under K2 and one resignation under K3. So we have a short agenda. That is all we have to report for this month.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Kevin. Sure.
I would like to thank Catherine Paluto for her years of service in the district. She's done a phenomenal job as a second grade teacher, and she has now decided to stay home with her new baby. So I congratulate her and thank her. And I also congratulate Nicole Hutnick for being appointed supervisor of instruction. We look forward to working with Nicole as a supervisor of instruction, and we will be working toward finding a replacement for her, although that will not be easy.
Any additional comments?
I'm good.
Mrs. Cantiliano?
Yes.
Mr. Peron?
Yes.
Mrs. Ritt?
Yes.
Mrs. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Bain?
Yes.
Mr. Sensi?
Yes.
Ms. Lean?
Yes.
Mr. Whitman?
Yes. The communications committee? No. Workshop.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. So, from there, we have no old business, new business. We have three legislative updates, Diane?
Are you hoping for no legislative update?
Oh, no.
Yes.
You love to know what's going on.
It's red in that tone.
Not at all.
There is a lot going on, but a lot of it has already been going on. So, you know, we're all seeing HIB starting to be implemented, and what was apparent, many of us attended the workshop a week ago, just last week. And it's very apparent that throughout the state there is a lot that is unknown, which is what the legislature was basically warned about, that if you adopt a law to address a situation, that no matter how horrific it is, if the law is too vague, there's going to be lots of problems with the implementation, and districts across the state are beginning to experience those problems. And all of us are having to call attorneys and so forth. So it's that law is now in effect, and we've done everything that we were supposed to do to statutorily comply with that law. The more than legislation, what is on the table, especially since Governor Christie is not running for president of the United States. He is here in New Jersey, and he sent a letter to board presidents, which really kind of summarizes it. It's a reform agenda. So what we'll see is legislation and pilot programs to address the reform agenda. And we've already seen his budget, and you know, what everybody gets out of state aid from that budget, and he's pleased to say that he actually gave us more money because of what the feds did too as well last year. Then the reforms in the pension and health benefits laws, which are being implemented, and it continues to change. You know, this involves consultation with our insurance officials over time and so forth, because the laws just keep changing. I see Mr. Williams here from the municipality, and they're experiencing the same sort of things. But the third big part of his agenda is reforming our schools to make them the best in the nation. And that's where educators and board members and administrators and the public is watching with interest and hope, you know, because I don't think a lot of people disagree with making our schools better. It's just that the devil is in the details. So, for example, 10 schools are implementing an evaluation process this year, and it's going to be piloted for 1 year. That's not very long. And after that, a new evaluation system is going to be adopted. Well, what we're finding out in education is one size doesn't fit all. You know, what you say about Camden and Newark isn't necessarily true in Greenwich Township School District or in Phillipsburg School District or other school districts throughout the state. So when you adopt one size fits all solutions, that's where things start to be problematic. So the governor is going to be running these pilot programs with evaluation, some tenure reform type statutes are on the books. Nothing's really moving forward yet. Nobody's clear what will be the ultimate outcome. Then in terms of accountability and performance, we have seen the streamlining of CUSAC. That's being implemented. I don't think any of us disagree with that either, that there's just so many regulations on the book that it is high time to get rid of the unnecessary ones and to make some of these processes simpler. So what New Jersey is trying to do, the governor agrees with what President Obama and the Department of Education are doing at the federal level in many respects. So they're doing parallel processes. So when they do the NCLB waiver for the state of New Jersey, that is following the reforms being implemented at the federal level. So that's that. And then in academics, you heard the Common Core standards and these new oversight type evaluation systems and so forth. Everybody's watching it with interest. The timetables are fairly abbreviated. There's going to be more focus. The administration is suggesting, and I think this would be a good thing, that where schools have demonstrated proficiency and achievement, there's going to be, they're hoping that there will be less focus and less reporting and less bureaucratic stuff to meet for those districts, and that more time can be spent on the low performing districts. Because they've been there, it's stuck in that place for so long that perhaps there needs to be more intensive efforts there. The governor still feels that charters are a big piece of the solution. He calls that innovation. And again, there's great concern around the state because mostly people would like local control. Like if you're going to have a charter, at least let the local authorities, the Board of Education with public support, implement the charter, because then they'll tend to get more support. Their community will have decided that there is both a need and that there is trust in that particular charter school. So those are some of the major things that are happening. It's all of it's on the governor's website and on NJ Ledge, and we're all just following it all with great interest and trying to read vast amounts of material in a short period of time. And I'm sure all of the teachers in the district are equally concerned because everything that's happening, if it happens this rapidly, it's every school district in New Jersey is impacted. And like I said, the devil's in the details, and not all of the proposals that are being put forth, they might work for Camden, and I hope they do, but they're not necessarily useful in districts like Greenwich. So that's where all the issues, as always, are going to arise.
We'll move into public participation. Pretty much training, so if you'd like to make a comment, state name and address, and welcome to Angela.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you guys again for the Interact. We had 28 kids sign up, mostly for the teacher, who is just fantastic. I really want to thank you for her. She's, at the kickoff, I thought I was a pretty funny guy with kids. I bombed. I had to go back to my grandkids and get my confidence back. She took over, and she was just beautiful interacting with the kids. But she's really great. So I expect great things from them. And again, I want to thank you. We're gonna give them some seed money so they can start their own project. And again, I think I want to thank you, and I think they're going to do great things. So thanks a lot.
Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, I have a comment. I'd like to thank you for coming out and spending your time and videotaping this meeting. Although Maria's presentation will be on our website, there are undoubtedly some folks who may not access that and may access.
Yeah, and listen, any meetings that you want me to do, I know a lot of these might be a little on the boring side, so the important ones, just let me know and I'll come out. I won't be around in January, but and that's why I didn't volunteer for any of the January meetings for the the community But I will be back in February, so if you want to get me up to speed with those things, and I'll be happy to tape any of those sessions that you have. And anything you want to get out to the public, I'll be happy to put on my site.
Thank
So-
you for your help. I'm going to open up closed public discussion now. General board discussion, anyone have anything that they need to bring forward at this time?
I just wanted to mention that we had our kickoff meetings for strategic planning last night. So we had our state of the school and the state of the community meetings. Although clearly state of the school is a much better. No. But it went really well. So we're at full stride with working on strategic planning. So
How many were in attendance?
it's packed. We have 9, including.
How many do you have,
Yes,
Full service, yeah.
everybody was there, 9.
Good.
So. How many did you have, Brian? 6.
We had 7 strong. Oh, I'm sorry, six strong.
Did you bring coffee?
I forgot the coffee.
Uh,
But I had
Well, if you
chocolate.
would have more attendees.
But I had chocolate.
Well, thank you, and sorry for the oversight.
no, I just.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, it certainly is, and unfortunately, some things get missed in planning the agenda. A lot of thinking, So we'll look for a motion for adjournment.
Probably make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.